Hello, my fellow humans. Welcome back to another daily dice. We ask the dice for a message and find out what that is. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And with that being said, today we are getting a message from your higher self. We're using the Egyptian Book of the Dead Oracle. So this is the book and what the box looks like, if you're wondering. It does not have an artist, so that's just how it came. But with that, what is the higher self's message for my collective today, for my fellow humans? What oracle card will help us better understand their higher self's message today for my fellow humans? What is the higher self message for my fellow humans today? What oracle card will help us better understand that? Thank you. My candle went out. Ay, senor. Too many cards. We've got Ra on the bottom of the deck with the number 4 card. Okay, so let's get into it and let's see. What is the higher self's message for my fellow humans today? What does my fellow human's higher self have a message for them? What is that? What is the message for my fellow humans today from their higher self? What is the higher self's message for my fellow humans today? Okay, so we've got Sagittarius energy, we've got Pluto and the 10th house. So what you're working on right now, finding a new sense of creative enjoyment with it and being adventurous. Like, don't be afraid to be adventurous here. Like, be outside of the box. Don't be in the box. Be outside of the box. Let yourself explore outside of the box as well. It feels like that sometimes it can be stifling at work. Like, you know, everybody expects things to be done a certain way. It's like, while you can still do things that way, like it would really benefit you to have the freedom of expression that you need in order to, you know, let your ideas be seen or heard. Am I all out of... There we go. And, you know, not be afraid to let yourself be seen, because there's a lot of transformation here and letting yourself experience the new. And I feel like sometimes there's a fear, like, with stepping outside of the norm. Like, maybe you want to do something that someone else is doing, but you have a different kind of twist on it, right? And that's really all it is. It's like, there is nothing new. There is only different. And so not being afraid to really lean into those differences and really lean into what it is to share your differences with others, right? So we do see here there is maybe a lot of jealousy around you and your abilities. There's maybe a lot of possessiveness around you. There's a lot of dark energies that are surrounding you, but I do feel like you're transmuting those right now, and they're turning into fuel for you to go to the next level. That's what they're saying. Don't let those become a blockage for your journey here. Your higher self wants you to know that the freer that you feel and the more adventurous that you feel, the easier it is for you to transmute those energies that have been trying to hold you back or make you dim your light, or that have always been a problem along the journey, right? Because sometimes we deal with repeat energies along the way, and we're trying to heal from those, or we're trying to let them go for good and know that they don't have a control in our lives anymore. So it does feel like you are going to get noticed for this, and that through that, you're going to be really happy about that as well. It's like you're going to be getting a raise or promotion here, or you're going to be finally, excuse me, getting a lot of people to notice you if that's what you were doing. Not in the emotional, egoic way, but like trying to share your message with others. Like, people are finally seeing your message has value, even though you know it has value, right? Sometimes there's that transitional period where it's like, you know, your message has value, but it's hard because people might not see the value in it just yet, or they're not really willing to take a chance on it just yet. And so it does feel like that is shifting for you as well. It's just a transmutation. That's what I keep hearing. You're transmuting energy right now. It's like you're becoming this powerhouse and your higher self is cheering you on, basically. Like, don't give up, keep going, you're doing an incredible job. And even though the transition period might feel a little awkward, that it's in that transitional period that you learn the most about yourself, and you've already been there quite a bit. Yeah. See, we've got Justice here and the Queen of Wands. It's like you're becoming incredibly magnetic. You're overcoming the negativity here, letting go of old beliefs, and no longer letting things deter you from the things that you want to do, even if you have to do things that you don't like. This is interesting. This came out in the other reading that I did, signs that your blessings are coming. If you haven't caught that reading, definitely check that out. It will be out soon. If not, it is already out around the same time as this one. But it was another message that came out. It's kind of a repeat message, but it's that same energy. It's like not letting people deter you from you know, what it is that you want to do, and not letting your light get dimmed because other people have a problem with you, or they have a problem with you standing up in that light. You know, there's always going to be people who like you and people who don't. And the more that we worry about the people who don't like us, the less we're able to focus on ourselves and our own journey. And so I feel like the message from your higher self is to really just focus on your own journey, focus on what you want, focus on what you're doing, and not let anybody else play a part in that, because it doesn't matter, right? That's their business, how they feel about you doing what you want to do. And you doing what you need to do, that's your business, right? Yeah, we've got the Three of Wands in the reverse here. Yeah, so there's been some manipulation, right? And you've been aware. I feel like that's the thing. Like, you've been aware of this manipulation. Like, people who have lied to you, people who are just they're not trustworthy. Like, these are people who aren't trustworthy. People who have very little to give to you. It comes from a background of having neglect and having to support others that have nothing to give to you. And, you know, it's like you're healing from this. You're letting it go. It's been a very difficult journey, though, it feels like. Having spiritual victory at last. At last. Like, it's like this freedom that you're experiencing right now. It's just feeling finally like things are starting to go your way, and also like connecting with your intuition more and feeling your way through something as well. It's like making a choice based on what feels right in your heart. And so your higher self is saying, like, trust that feeling. Like, trust that you know what is the right way for you. Yeah, interesting. Cancer. So you could have been dealing with a Cancer. You could have Cancer highly aspect in your chart as well. This is Cancer energy, both of these here. And with the Queen of Cups in the reverse, we see here it's like someone who's not ready or willing to give you love. Like, this is someone who's stringing you along. It's like, I'm giving you the bare minimum so that I can get the maximum. And it's, see how you're like looking in the other way here, like you're not even paying attention to them, but they're still trying to take action to get you to follow them. And you're on a different road. Like, you vibrated into another timeline. And so that's what they're saying here is like, don't focus on people who are in this energy. Focus on what feels right. Like, if this doesn't feel right, go away from that, right? Like, let's not just, hey, you don't feel right, so why don't you come with me? Let me try to save you. No, we've learned that. That was something we learned at the beginning of our journey. That does not pan out well for us. In fact, it causes a lot of dismay and a lot of hurt. We try to convince people that they have their potential, the potential that we seek. And we end up wasting a lot of time. Well, I don't know if it's a waste. I wouldn't say that. We end up spending a lot of time trying to show others their value, and we miss out on precious moments that we could be working on our own value and sharing that value with ourselves, right? Of ourselves. And so for this, though, it seems like you're taking a new step on your spiritual journey, and that feels like spiritual victory, and it feels like spiritual alignment as well, and having luck. Like, you chose to change something here, and it's like you took up your wand and you're like directing yourself now, like, I want to go that way. Like, I don't want to go that way. I want to go that way. And that's the way that you're going. And, you know, there's still going to be difficulties. There's still going to be people who try to manipulate you along the way, but you're going to see this coming. And even if people do get past your defenses, your discernment has grown so much that this is not going to play a part or a problem in your life anymore, because you're going to recognize when people are coming from just a lower vibration. You know, we want to say toxic, but ultimately it's from an unhealed state, right? Is it really toxic, or is it just they're unaware of who they are? And so when we ask these questions of ourselves, it allows us to come in a space of compassion instead of judgment and saying, well, they're just a toxic person or they're a narcissist. You know, we're using narcissist now as a way to describe so many people who don't vibe with us. And that's something that we should draw back from and really ask ourselves really important questions like, you know, is this person on the same level? Maybe not the same level. Is this person vibing with me? And if they're not, like, you know, maybe they are coming from an unhealed state. Let me just leave them to their journey, because they have to figure out their journey on their own. I cannot be the reason that they're trying to figure out a healing journey. Yes, I can be the inspiration, right? Like I said, it's like you're going to be sharing a lot of information with people and being an inspiration to them. But it's different to inspire people rather than carrying people. Right? Because when you carry people, everybody's going to jump on. Oh, I don't have to do that work. You're going to do it for me. Great. And that's what your higher self is saying. Like, you're learning that lesson, and you're learning that, like, it's not your job to carry all these people. They can either be inspired by you, or they could be hateful and judgmental of you. Either way, it doesn't matter. Right? Like, it's no big deal. Who cares? Are they toxic? It doesn't really matter. Right? If we focus on that, we're losing footing for our own journey. And that's why I'm saying, like, what I'm saying here. It's like here with the Queen of Cups in the reverse, they're not showing that they're narcissistic. They're showing that they're unhealed. The Queen of Cups in reverse is someone who doesn't have control over their emotional well-being. They're literally controlled by every emotion they have. If they're angry, they're going to be angry at you. If they're happy, they might share happiness with you, but they're going to also reserve it. You know, like, they're not in a place to love. Everything is closed off. So they can't give love. They can't receive love. Right? That's what it's saying here. They're just coming from an unhealed state. But it's like, you don't have to go towards this person and convince them that what you're doing is worthwhile. And that's what your higher self is saying here. It's like, when you focus on you, then things begin to pan out. And yes, there are going to be people who are jealous. And yes, there are people who are going to try to possess you. And yes, there are going to be people who try to deter you, and they want to see you fall, and they want to see you fail. You know what? That's just life. That's this world. This world is a very dualistic world. So imagine, for as good as you are, and as light as you are, and as bright as you are, that same vibration exists on the opposite end of the scale. Is it right or wrong, good or bad? No, it just simply is. And so that's what it feels like your higher self is saying here. Just focus on your journey, focus on yourself, and do what feels right for you. And just turn the other cheek, meaning that not for the person to slap the other cheek, but turning the other cheek so that you can avert your attention somewhere else, instead of letting these people or this person continue to create unrest in your life, or for you to continue to get involved in them on that level. Yeah, Chiron, exactly. Hurt and heal. This is something you're healing. This is something you're healing, and it's hard, right? It's hard because Chiron is a difficult energy to work with. It's the wounded healer, right? Like, this is the wound of wounds of all wounds that's coming through here. And your higher self's message is like, this is what we're dealing with, is our Chiron. It is hard. It's hard to turn away from, because this is like all we've known our whole lives. We've only ever known this abuse, or we've only ever known this very reluctant love, or this conditional love. And it's like, it's hard for us to leave that place of comfort. It's hard for us to leave that hurt, because it's like, we want to feel like we're seen, and we want to feel like we have a right to speak and be heard. And sometimes at the cost of letting our ego be right, we'll get involved in an argument that has no end, or we'll get involved in a situation that has no end. And so it's like your higher self is saying here, like, heal yourself by letting yourself let go. Opposition, imbalance, a point of tension, a power struggle. That's what I was saying. Like, the emotional ego wants to be right. And that's where this person is in their feels, right? They're in their feels and in their emotions. And it's like, I have to be right. So no matter what, if this is a person, a place, a situation or a circumstance or a situationship, whatever this is representing, the Queen of Cups in the reverse here, it's just showing like, no matter what you say, do, however you act, this person needs to be right, because that's where they're at. That's the imbalance in this situation. Like, it's just that. It's like, for as enlightened as you are, this person is living in their shadow, right? You have both Cancer energies. It's interesting that we would get both Cancer energies here. Yes, maybe one is a court card and one is a mystery card, but we still have it showing both the light and the dark attributes. Like, without one, the other ceases to exist. It's like, this person is very much that for you. It's like the opposition, just so that you can learn to let go. Like, instead of staying in this place of imbalance, we have the lake energy coming out with stillness. Coming into a place of meditation is so valuable for you at this time. This is where healing begins. This is where listening to your guides, this is where getting the messages you need begins. Look at that shaman with ancient healing wisdom. And that was the first thing I said when that flew out. And I had the deck face down like that, so I didn't even know this was here. But we've got ancient healing wisdom coming out here. So you're on the path of healing something that has been overwhelming for you. And your higher self's message is this, like, let yourself heal from it. Don't go running back. Even though it's something that you know, even though it's the only thing that you might have known this whole time, don't go running back, right? Look, this makes sense. Like, we've got red crowned crane with loyalty coming out. You are an incredibly loyal person. It's hard. It's hard to just say goodbye. It's hard to say, like, well, this just isn't working. Peace out. Like, even though people have done that to you, it's like, for you, that takes decision and contemplation and really thinking, like, is this okay for me to leave? Like, I really am stuck on being loyal, but being stuck on loyal is not a bad thing, right? Like, to be loyal is something that's rare in this world, but we see there's a lot of emotion that's involved in that. It's like, I'm not just going to throw away my emotions because. And so that we see that this has been a journey for you to recognize letting go is the best possible outcome for you, right? To grow exponentially spiritually with number 11, 29 breaking into 11. It's a spiritual number. It's really connecting with the divine and connecting with your higher self here, having faith in this process, and that sometimes the process isn't what we always imagined it would be, but it's exactly what we need it to be. And so we see that here. It's hard for you to let go because you're a loyal person, but we also see that that is a part of the Chiron lesson that you're learning as well. So that you don't have to hold on to something just because of loyalty, because time doesn't necessarily equal loyalty. Yeah, finding your freedom here with horse. We have horse freedom. You're running through a new gate. This is like a portal that's opening for you, and it's like rinsing you clean and rinsing you in a sense of being pure. And like, I think we have bull underneath this. Yeah, sacrifice. Like, it's sacrificing all this chaotic thought process that goes into that. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, if you're an incredibly loyal person, how do you let go of that want to be loyal, even though you know the situation no longer calls for it? It's like respect, right? Like, even if someone disrespects you, you might still hold respect for them because you deeply care about someone. And I know that's not going to resonate with everyone, but sometimes when you have loyalty, that's exactly what it's like. It's like, I just respect people because I feel like I deserve respect. And it's like, you know, if someone disrespects you, instead of just saying goodbye, it's like you still let that person into your life. It's just a lesson that we're learning. Let's get some answer oracles on it. Okay, I want to get one more here. Okay, thank you. And we've got, if I can get these here. Book, wisdom, experience, immortality, authority. Yeah, so you're learning something here. And this is exactly what your higher self's message is. It's like you're gaining a lot of wisdom from this experience, even though it's difficult, even though it hurts, even though it's incredibly heavy, you're learning something valuable here. We have promise, look, oath, contract. There's an emotional bond here. What was I saying? Like, that's the thing. Like, the emotional bond here is, it's almost so deep, like I care about this person so much, like to let go is almost what hurts me more. I feel like that's the thing. It's like you don't recognize the freedom that comes from letting go until you are ready to let go. And your higher self is not pushing you, like even source, your angels, like no one's pushing you to do something you're uncomfortable doing. You will reach that point where you're ready to let go as well. And that's the most valuable place to be at, because when you're ready to let go, truly let go, you're not going to go rushing back and wondering like, could things have been different if I only did this, right? Like you're going to let go knowing like I did everything I could and that was good enough. And if it wasn't enough for this person, then so be it. Disappear, decline, die, wither, and be forgotten. This is the feeling that you have come up. It's like, I don't want to disappear. I don't want this person to disappear because I disappeared, right? I feel like you don't like to ghost people. I feel like you've been ghosted too many times. There's just something you don't like. And you're feeling it wither away, though. Like, you're feeling it die, like it's just it's ending, and you're just like, how can I hold on? And I feel like that's what your higher self is saying here, is like there's no need for you to hold on to this anymore. Why? Because it's empty, right? What are we trying to do? We're trying to clean you. We're trying to purify you. This is practice. Like every moment that you show up for this, every moment that this is happening, it's practice for you. Doesn't make it easy. It just makes it a part of the process. We saw that with the horse spirit too. It's like finding your freedom is going through this portal and purifying your soul. It doesn't make it easy. Even if the steps are simple to get there, it means that it's just a part of the process. And sometimes that's one of the most difficult things that we'll ever do. So let's take a look at your card here. We have Amet with number 37. This is the completion of a process for you. And I feel like disconnecting from this person or this situation is also going to bring you a lot of clarity when it comes to your path of purpose and what it is that you're doing. So we have punishment, caution, and amends. Amet is a crocodile-headed goddess of Duat who feeds off the hearts of wrongdoers, thereby refusing them entry into the field of reeds in the afterlife. She's considered to be more of a demon than a goddess by some scholars, but whether demon or deity, she's a force of divine retribution, and she gives no quarter. This is the card of conscience, urging you to reflect on your behavior and your interactions with others. Are you a wrongdoer, or could you walk freely past Amet unscathed? In a spread, the Amet card has several interpretations, the first one being that of caution. This card is telling you to watch your step. You might be treading a very thin line where one wrong move leads you straight into trouble. It is telling you to be mindful of your transgressions and begin to make amends for them. The Amet card also cautions you against taking any kind of risk, bending or breaking the law, or acting in haste or anger, because your actions will come back to haunt you and you will suffer the consequences. Never smile in the face of this crocodile. Your conscience, keep your conscience clear and all will be well. So, and that's the other thing too. It's like remembering like how hard it is. What I was saying earlier, it's like recognizing that this is not necessarily a narcissist, and that could be true. Like some of you could be dealing with a narcissist, but remembering that even with narcissism, like we've gotten so used to saying, oh, they're evil, they do it all on purpose. But narcissism is a learned action. Like, we're not born a narcissist. No one that is a narcissist is born a narcissist. And we have to begin to ask, like, what awful situation happened to them for them to decide that this is the way that was okay for them to treat people, which means that they're coming from an unhealed state. And this might be something that has to do with the Chiron, and remembering that no one is free from sin, right? Like, we all have our problems. We all have decided to do things that have been toxic along the way. Like, we've all made bad choices and we've all made bad mistakes, but that doesn't make us bad people. And if we continue to point out that people who are toxic for us are narcissists, or we're just saying like, oh, we're just calling them a narcissist for the sake of calling them something so that we can identify this or label them so that makes it better for us and clears our conscience. Like, is that really the reality? I'm not saying that that's not what you experienced. I have definitely experienced narcissism in life, but I've also experienced people who have been unhealed and they've done some crazy things too. You know, and so, and I myself have some very crazy stories as well, especially from when I was unhealed. So it's like, again, understanding that we all play a vital part on this journey, but if we're only holding on to labels because it's the only thing that we can do to make sense of our lives, we're not seeking a deeper meaning within ourselves and understanding that there's something deeper here that I can learn from rather than the label. We begin to identify with the label instead of seeking a deeper soul meaning. And that's exactly what your higher self is saying here. It's important for you to seek a deeper soul meaning, to find that stability, and to end this process of reoccurrent people in your life who are going to flare up the Chiron in your energy. Okay, and I know this is so much easier said than done, and please give yourself grace for things like this, because to change belief systems, and especially ones that are, you know, society continues to instill and to grow upon, and, you know, even in the spiritual community you see it a lot as well. And it's like when you see this constantly, it's like coming from a place of unconditional love is actually a rare thing. It is rare because so many people are so hurt that they continue to come from this place of hurt, and they want other people to feel, you know, to justify their hurt as well and validate that experience. But if we're not validating our own experience and saying like, wow, like this person was really toxic for me, but that doesn't mean that that person's going to be toxic for another person, and letting that person go instead of holding on so tightly to the fact that, oh, this person was toxic, they deserve retribution, they deserve that. Because again, can you walk by Amit with a smile on your face? It's just really putting the shoe on the other foot, right? And again, it's not to invalidate your experiences, but it's when we look at these from outside of the box, that's when real healing begins, because we're no longer attached to the ideas that we had put on this person in the first place. We're then looking at them like, wow, like what did they go through that was so harrowing that created them to be this way in life? And that's when we can begin to find compassion for people that otherwise we might not have had compassion for. Okay, so this is what I see for you today. If you felt like this was your reading, leave a little crocodile emoji down below and say, I choose to look at things from outside of the box so that I can grow spiritually from a place of unconditional love and use that growth to fuel my journey forward into my sense of freedom. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find all those links in the description box in order to do so. You'll learn how to reach out to me for a personal reading. You'll even learn how to join as a member of the channel, which I would love to see. But if not, thank you so much for your continued support here. I do want to take a quick second and thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides, and a special shout out to your higher self for coming through with this very powerful message. And until next time, stay human. Bye.